Alright, man. So, back at the beginning of the COVID coof disaster, I had been thinking about getting me a new case for the new engine build, and then all that hit, and I waffled and waited until they weren't available anymore. Racing Buddy put one up for sale, and I jumped on it and got it, and just got it in. I gotta thank Doug Trenholm. Super Doug came through for me, brought it over, and I was just looking at it. I haven't mic'd it or checked it, measured it out or anything. It looks good, but just going over it, first thing was there's none of the nuts and washers are on it. I got the studs, head studs and washers and stuff, but not the case. And the engine that I got with my car, the new engine car build, it had these Teflon locking nuts, and you can get these kits now, all the hardware kit, and they come like that, and I just don't like those things. I guess they work okay and everything, but so there's guys on, you gotta thank the guys on Samba and sometimes on eBay, these guys that scrounge and just take everything apart and save every little thing, even the nuts and the bolts, because these are genuine German nuts, case half nuts, but I couldn't get any washers. One guy has a bag of NOS, like 100 of them in a bag, and what do I need 100 of them? And couldn't find them, so I got to hunting around, done a little measuring on the case. I measured the stud, I measured an old washer, and I measured the relief that they cut in here in the stud, and went online, and I found these little bad boys, and they literally just fit perfectly. These are VW nuts, but these are some grade 8, and about 12 of them for like 14 bucks shipped. And if anybody's needing anything like that, right there, if you can see that, I'll advertise for the dude. And you'll notice it's a 7/16, not 12 millimeter, and they're extra thick. Let's love that. So now I'm all fixed up on that. The second thing that I noticed was the oil pickup. Let me get that angle on there. Look at that bad boy. Shooting off. It's like somebody was bending the tube and they just cut it off in the middle of the bend. That's not even going to go in the strainer. And I've heard some tales, engine building guys. Yeah, I just noticed I don't have the plungers and the stuff there. I'll have to get that stuff too. The fit of the tube into the case up here, which is actually over here, comes in here. This is where they drilled it through, and it comes up, and there's your oil pickup. You can see a step in there too. All that's going to get dressed. They don't fit too good from what I understand, and they can suck air, and so I had this bad boy. I got this with the car too. Guy had just stuff sitting around. This was in a horse lot. There's all this hay dust all over this thing. This is a 71 1600 dual relief, and it's a 10 millimeter head stud. This is when they were having trouble, and they decided to go, they thought if they went from 8 millimeter to 10 millimeter that would solve it. But what happened, this is the problem right here, this one. I believe, yeah, I think it's that one. It's, they start cracking, and one of the things was back here, and they would crack in here. Especially if you bored them out for a larger piston. And this would be like the race car guys. And the solution was, and you'll notice this is not done, that they deep studded. So what they did was, and this is a pretty good shot here, I think. Yeah, there you go. They just drilled a larger hole down and they threaded down in here. So the stud is actually would be threaded down into the main web, and that solved everything right there. And it went back to the 8mm, and they started. I think they started putting case savers in at the factory too, because they were pulling studs and stuff. So that's what you got. Anyway, I figured this sucker, I'll probably not be using this thing, so I robbed the oil pickup out of it because it's genuine VW, good quality, and I got to do a little sandblast, clean it up, and a little rust off of it. Man, amazing thing about this is a all standard case. I cannot believe, I've never seen a factory case that was standard. They're all line board and stuff. And by the way, if you need to knock your tube out, your mileage may vary, but there's a plug in here. Okay, there's a plug in there. I got an overkill here, but there's the plug. Get you a puller, thread her in there, and pop that sucker right out. Comes right out, no problem. And I used, what is that? A 12mm 1/4" drive, Craftsman metric. Was perfect. It just popped that sucker right out. So it's actually the basically the exact same size. Beautiful. Get that cleaned up. I'll swap them, get it sealed up, and I'll probably take those old plungers out of that case there, or I can get a higher. Oh, one other thing about this, I was just talking about this. Somebody had threaded. They've already cut and threaded these. Interestingly, this being bored and everything for 94 and all this, but it's not welded back here. Now, Gene Berg always said with the deep stud, you don't need to do that. And he claimed that welding that in there would deform the case anyway. Yeah, they do it on almost every single one that I've ever seen. The aluminum cases just come molded or as cast. It's just solid right there. But yeah. Anyway, it was just a little tech tip there, a couple of things if you need some washers and how to get that out. We'll be maybe back later.